No one is looking forward to it. No one is talking about it. And the people that are seeing it are rejecting it across the board. This is what you get, Disney. You did this to yourselves, and no one feels sorry for you at all. Snow White opening right around Dumbo in the mid-40s. This is over on Deadline.
Snow White bombs, breaks records for the lowest live-action remake opening ever. Let me say that again. Ever. Pretty scary thought here. Rob, can you play the clip and tell me, folks, if you watch this, tell me if this is attractive to you. Tell me if this is attractive to you, the main character. Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them,
she's a good actress,
that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Our latest film, Snow White, was never about engaging in any kind of a culture war, but I will not tolerate our financial claims about our budget on a project this large, and I hold no reason to comment on our losses yet for the project. We approached this film by who we could detach from the source material, and how we could do it.
Snow White producer's son blames Rachel Zegler for poor box office.
What is it like for you now having all of this? I think it's a lot of pressure, right?
It's definitely a lot of pressure.
Y'all, Rachel Zegler just lost it. Is she being forced to cough up $120 million for the Snow White disaster? We gotta talk about this. If you've been anywhere near the internet lately, you've probably seen the chaos surrounding Disney's Snow White remake. And at the center of it all, Miss Rachel Zegler, former Disney darling turned public enemy #1. And now, this latest twist has everyone shocked. So grab your seat, because we're diving into the drama, the backlash, and yeah, that mind-blowing $120 million that someone's got to answer for. Let's get into it. Now, let's rewind for a sec. Remember when Disney announced they were doing a live-action Snow White? Yeah, people were already kind of skeptical. Then they dropped the bomb that Rachel Zegler, who, let's be honest, was still pretty fresh from West Side Story, would be playing Snow White.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film.
At first, people were like, oh cool, she sings, she's pretty, she was great in West Side Story. But as usual, the internet did what it always does and went full FBI mode. And it was real quick. People started digging up interviews, clips, even eyebrow raises Rachel made about the original Snow White. And that's when things went from fairy tale to full-on firestorm, of course. Her comments in interviews were terrible. Rachel went on record calling the original Snow White story weird and creepy. In fact, Rachel was basically saying she wasn't a fan of the old movie and didn't think it had much value for today's audience.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
And folks did not take that lightly. I mean, it's literally a Disney classic. People grew up with this stuff, and the original movie had a special place in their hearts. So the backlash from fans was loud.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable. There's some clip of her on the internet in her Snow White outfit saying, every hour I am in the outfit of Snow White wearing the dress. All 18 hours, I deserve to be paid for.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And Rachel, let's just say, she didn't help herself much between the feminist hot takes, the sassy Twitter replies, and fans feeling like she was biting the hand that fed her. The internet was not feeling it. Like, girl, you're playing the role, at least pretend you like it, there's more. One time, Rachel took to the internet and literally said no peace to Trump and his supporters, and like you would have guessed, people marked her as a political activist. So, because fans were not having it, the internet exploded with tweets like, Why cast someone who hates the source material and woke remake no one asked for? It felt like Rachel and some of the fans were suddenly on totally different pages, especially after she shared her thoughts. They just weren't having it. But that's not all. Then there was the infamous 7 magical creatures mess. Now, Disney decided to replace the 7 dwarves with a wildly diverse group of people that looked like they walked off the set of Coachella. It sparked so much backlash that even Peter Dinklage chimed in, the American actor best known for his role as Tyrion Lannister, the dwarf, in the hit series Game of Thrones.
Thanks. Right over here.
Anyways, back to Rachel. The negative press just wouldn't stop. Everything she said in interviews became viral for the wrong reasons. People called her arrogant, out of touch, and not grateful enough for the opportunity.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
I mean, can we blame her entirely? She's young. She was probably trying to sound progressive and confident, but instead, it came off like she was dragging Disney's legacy while cashing their check. Not a good combo. Now, here's the wild part. When the film finally hit the screens, it was a disaster. And not just like, oh, it underperformed. We're talking an all-out nuclear level flop. And there's more. The budget, which was reportedly $270 million, not including marketing, could not be recovered. The earnings from the movie was barely a scraping $80 million worldwide in the first few weeks. And that's being generous. The movie got roasted like Thanksgiving turkey critics weren't having it. People were walking out mid-scene, and the internet, they turned it into a meme massacre. So here's where the $120 million comes in. Now, a few insiders claim Disney is quietly trying to recover some of the losses by leaning into certain contractual loopholes. Rumors started swirling that Rachel's team had some kind of profit-sharing clause in her contract, and now that could mean she's on the hook for a portion of the losses. According to sources close to the production, Rachel allegedly had a total meltdown after being hit with the mind-blowing figure of $120 million in damages. She was reportedly shocked, devastated, and furious. And honestly, who wouldn't be? That's generational wealth. Gone. Just like that. Insiders say she felt totally blindsided that Disney had thrown her under the bus and made her the scapegoat for a film that had problems baked into the script from day one. Whether that's true or just PR spin, it's clear this hit her hard. Word on the street is she's considering stepping away from acting for a while. Yeah, like a full-on Hollywood hiatus. One source even said she's questioning everything: her team, her choices, the industry. She didn't sign up to carry the blame for a billion-dollar studio mess up. Now, let's be real, there's no way she's writing a check for $120 million herself. Like, where's she gonna cough out that money from being an up-and-coming artist? But regardless, the drama is loud. People are saying this is career-ending, that she'll never lead another blockbuster again, that she needs to lay low for a few years and let this storm pass. But guess what Rachel did? You wouldn't believe she went live. And sis snapped. She didn't just cry or apologize, she went off. There's a video floating around where she's clearly frustrated. She starts ranting about how the internet twisted her words, how she was misrepresented by the media, and how she never expected to be blamed for an entire film's failure.
Everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
And can we be fair for a second? That's kind of true. One person doesn't make or break a movie. The script, the direction, the marketing, all of that plays a role. But still, the internet was not trying to hear it. Comment sections were brutal. Tweets like "cry harder," "Snow White," and "should have respected the classics." That's what happens when you act too woke for your own good. She disrespected the source material and the fans. Karma's real. She said she hated the movie while promoting it. What did she expect? We're trending. You'd think that would be all, but there's more. There were memes of Rachel holding up a will act for food sign. Others photoshopped her in Cinderella's rags, scrubbing the floors at Disneyland. Now that's savage. Even some Hollywood folks low-key threw shade. In fact, when Rachel tweeted about freeing Palestine after the premiere of the trailer of Snow White, the producer of Snow White, Mark Platt, literally flew to New York to speak directly with Rachel to put down her tweet, but Rachel refused and stood her ground. As a result, Mark Platt's son Jonah totally went off on Rachel and fans were shook. Of course, Jonah actually blamed Rachel for the whole Snow White flop. No filter, just vibes. He called her immature and even hinted she was kind of narcissistic. And this all started because someone on Insta questioned why Mark supposedly flew to NYC just to talk to Rachel about her Palestine posts. Jonah clapped back hard, saying his dad had every reason to check her because a multi-million-dollar Disney film was on the line and she was mixing promo with politics. And let's not even talk about the merch. Snow White toys are collecting dust on store shelves. Kids aren't vibing with it. Parents are skipping it. The brand damage is not something we'll get into in this video. But plot twist, some fans are defending her, especially younger ones. They literally rallied behind Rachel, calling the penalty insanely unfair. They pointed out that she was just one piece of a massive puzzle, a flawed script, corporate mismanagement, a weird marketing campaign. Everything went wrong, not just Rachel. According to them, Disney should have seen this coming when they decided to go woke over wonder. And honestly, they've got a point. Yes, she had some missteps. But should one 22-year-old actress take the fall for a movie that was doomed from the jump? That's the $120 million question. Also, if you're wondering what's going to happen with Rachel's career, well, honestly, it's up in the air. Word is she's still attached to some upcoming projects, but studios are apparently reevaluating her public image. Meanwhile, Disney is doing what Disney does, pivoting. Rumor has it they're rushing development on a live-action Tangled or Frozen to wash away the Snow White drama. Because, let it go. In fact, industry insiders are saying this whole thing might change how studios approach casting and marketing. Like, for real. Executives are shook. And some are even whispering behind closed doors about getting back to basics, honoring source material, listening to fan communities, and not letting the lead actor openly roast the movie before it comes out. There's also been buzz that this situation could kill the whole live-action remake trend. After all, if Snow White flopped this hard, what's next? A live-action Pinocchio sequel? No thanks. Even Disney's shareholders are getting nervous. Rumors of a full internal review have leaked, and apparently, the company's already scrubbing early plans for similar reboots. The message is loud and clear. If audiences ain't vibing with it, it's time to pivot. And Rachel, word is she's lawyering up. There might be legal pushback over that $120 million bill. Some legal experts are calling it symbolic more than enforceable, but either way, she's in a tough spot. Like, lawyer fees for years, tough. Well, Rachel's team has gone silent. No Instagram stories, no PR tweets, no red carpets. She's basically vanished from the spotlight since the ruling came out. And let's be honest, she probably needs a breather. But some are speculating she might try to make a comeback with indie films, voice acting, or even theater. There's also talk she might pen a memoir or do a tell-all interview to spill the behind-the-scenes tea. And, people would tune in for that. But the $1 million or $120 million question is, will Hollywood forgive her? For one, the industry has a short memory, and a powerful comeback story always sells. If Rachel plays her cards right and maybe avoids roasting future roles on camera, she might just find herself back in the good graces of fans and studios alike. Still, this whole Snow White saga is gonna hang over her head for a while. It's the kind of Hollywood cautionary tale that gets passed around in producer meetings for years. Remember what happened with Rachel Zegler? Yeah, let's not let that happen again. And honestly, whether you think Rachel's the villain or just a victim of a corporate disaster, this whole thing is a masterclass in how not to handle a blockbuster. Anyway, what do you think? Did Rachel deserve this level of backlash? Was Disney just trying to save face by blaming the star? And is this the end of live-action fairy tale reboots as we know it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the hottest tea in celeb land.